Hi, my name is Jason.
This is my family, and we love to travel to the beach or the lake,
in the forest, on the coast,
to the mountains, and even deep underground. I hope you come along as we travel all around our home state of California, the greater United States, and beyond. We invite you to come join us as we go exploring. It's summertime again, which means it's time to pack up the RV and head out. This time, we're leaving the heat of our Central Valley home and heading up to the cool weather of the Northern California coast, across the border into Oregon, and up the Pacific Coast Highway to Tillamook. So we headed up Highway 5 northbound. First, a quick stop off to have dinner with our friends and fill up with gas, then on our way up and over the coastal mountains to our first stop. A quick overnight in nice California at the Robinson Rancheria and Casino.
Alright, here we are, set up camp in nice California at the Robinson Rancheria Resort and Casino. We've got a pretty nice parking lot out here where you can stay overnight for free, with lots of RV camping and truck parking. Got a couple other RVs here, with right there, but we set up camp and put out the pop out so that we can have plenty of room inside. Set the levelers down so we're all camped out ready for a good night's sleep. Right outside the resort casino. You want to go in and join the club or go to the bar of the casino. They have security working the parking lot all night. So it's a good place to stop for the night. We got here about an hour ago and had a couple of drinks, took a bathroom break, had a bite to eat and relax. Now we're going to head in, make up the beds and get some sleep, and we'll head out in the morning. So we'll see you then.
Well, the sun rose and we headed out, back over the mountains and up the coast. Our first stop was just outside of Trinidad at a drive-through tree. Only $10 to drive into the park. There's two paths you can go by. There's one that winds through the woods, looking at all these bear sculptures and other wood sculptures that are carved out of some of the trees. We didn't take that route. We opted for the direct one. Still a nice scenic drive through some of the trees, but a little bit more room for the RV to fit through. Arrived from the southern side of the parking lot and prepared to get out of the motorhome, and then had a slight mishap with poor little Jack Jack.
So Jack got a smashed finger, so he's got some ice on his finger, and took a Tylenol to ease the pain. He'll be okay in a little bit, and it'll be better. Right? It'll be okay. We're gonna go look at the drive-through tree. Yep. Yeah, I don't think so. I think a lot of those cars can barely fit through there.
So this is one of only a couple of drive-through trees left. Here's one of the bear sculptures I was telling you about. Since the motorhome was too big to fit through the tree, we decided to walk, but we had to quickly make an exit as we were holding up the traffic. We found this sign with a little poem written on it. I asked Jack to read it out loud for us.
Here, sown by the Creator's hand, in serried ranks the redwoods stand. No other clime is honored so, no other lands their glory know. The greatest of earth's living forms, tall conquerors that laugh at storms, their challenge still unanswered rings through 50 centuries of kings. This is their temple, vaulted high, and here we pause with reverent eye, with silent tongue and awestruck soul, for here we sense life's proper goal. To be like these, straight, true, and fine, to make our world like theirs a shrine. Sink down, O traveler, on your knees, God stands before you in these trees.
We then checked out the gift shop where they had the typical gifts and snacks and things, and signed the guest registry. We picked up a couple things and then decided to have lunch in the park. Some pasta and snacks, a couple sandwiches and some drinks, and then I gave Jack the camera and let him do some vlogging.
Oh, I knew that. But first we're taking garbage to garbage can. Wait for us like that log. Okay. Where are you going, Jessica? To wait over here by the log like Mama said. Okay. Oh boy. I can't even text Mama. Because you have no service. I think you guys can see the lake over there. Pretty cool. This tree was planted in memory of our sister Heather Lewis Reed. She sprouted this tree from a seed in memory of all those who lost their life on Highway 101. I truly believe sharing the pain will also ease the pain. So if you'd like, please share with us their names. And then this weird thing. And this tree, of course. Actually, I think that's the tree. What if that was the tree? That's the tree? Yeah. Hopefully. Nope. You can see my mom over there. Oh, let's go. Don't put it down on the ground. I know. Now you guys get to see grass.
Well, great grass notwithstanding, that's not why we drove up the coast. We came up this way to see the grand giant redwood trees of Redwood Trees National and State Parks. So we pulled off of the main highway, Highway 101, and pulled into the scenic drive that drives through the giant redwoods, known as the Avenue of the Giants. Absolutely beautiful drive. redwoods of the California coast surround you on all sides. About halfway through the Avenue of the Giants, there's a visitor's center, so we decided to stop in, take a look, and see what we could learn about the area. The Visitor Center had a small gift shop and quite a lot of exhibits for the kids to check out. And of course, lots of information about the local wildlife and the trees themselves. There's also a small film that plays telling you all about the history of the region and all the different groves and who helped establish them. After our little visit at the Visitors Center, we headed back out to check out the rest of the Avenue of the Giants. The northern coast was occupied for ages by the American Indians prior to the arrival of Europeans. But of course, when the Europeans did arrive, they pushed the Native Americans off the land and had many wars with them and slaughtered many of the people. It's a terrible history of what happened to the Native Americans in this area. Of course, once gold was discovered and the gold rush happened in California, huge numbers of Americans from the East Coast flooded the West, and the area became a logging hub. the trees in this area were horribly logged until almost everything was gone, and by the 1910s, there were a lot of concerned citizens who began to clamor for preservation of the dwindling stands of redwoods. The Save the Redwoods League was founded in 1910 by paleontologist Henry Fairfield Osborn of the American Museum of Natural History, Madison Grant of the New York Zoological Society, and John C. Merriam of the University of California, Berkeley. The League was formed as a non-profit organization dedicated to buying redwood tracts for the sole purpose of preservation. Through donations and matching state funds, the League bought over 100,000 acres of redwood forests between 1920 and 1960. In the 1960s, more emphasis was placed upon the importance of preserving whole ecosystems as opposed to just portions of the forests. Aided by the Sierra Club and the National Geographic Society, the Save the Redwoods League now called for Congress to create a national park that would include land in the Redwood Creek area adjacent to the state parks. Congress finally approved the federal park, and on October 2, 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed into law the act that established Redwood National Park. The new preserve placed 58,000 acres in the care of the National Park Service. Well, we eventually made our way out of the Avenue of the Giants and the Redwoods National State Park and up the road to Trinidad, where we'd be staying the night. Trinidad is a cute little coastal town, very small, and on the day we arrived, they happened to be having an artist's fair. There were all kinds of booths with handmade items, paintings, carvings, plants, and all kinds of other interesting things. Of course, there's also some local shops that we did check out. And then we went down to the beach so that the kids could get their first taste of the Northern California coast and Pacific Northwest beaches. Not far up the road from Trinidad was the RV park that we were staying at for the night. A cute little RV park and campground with cabins nestled in the redwoods called Emerald Forest. we got ourselves checked in and checked out the little store that they had that was stocked with quite a lot of local wines, drinks and supplies, anything else you might need. Set up our camp in our spot. Spots aren't super wide, but big enough to pop out the pop-outs.
Here we are in Emerald Forest RV camp, much cooler here on the coast, in amongst all the gorgeous coastal redwoods. This is a cute little RV park nestled in the forest.
Aside from having RV spots with full hookups, the Emerald Forest RV Park also has several little cabins you can rent if you're in a car. And they all surround this central little hub for social activities. They have a big lawn area with some horseshoe pits and a gazebo. And when we pulled in, it looked like they were setting up for some sort of a show. There was a band setting up. They also have laundry facility and an arcade.
Pretty cool old school arcade. This is where I would have been all the time when I was a kid. Let's go, Jack Jack.
Of course, Jack Jack didn't want to leave the arcade. Before we headed back, we decided to check out the gazebo again to see if the band was ready. And it looked like they were going to be playing some blues. There was a wine and cheese social going on, so we decided to taste some local wine, get some popcorn, and listen to the band for a while.
Since you went away, days grew long, and soon I'll get old winter sun. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves they start to fall, the autumn leaves drift by my window, the autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, those summer kisses, those sunburned hands I used to hold. Oh, when you went away, days grew long, and soon I'll hear old winter's song. Oh, but I miss you most of all. Oh yeah, my darling. Oh, when autumn leaves they start to fall.
it's been a great first leg of our trip. We've done a lot of driving and gotten out of the heat on the coast, seen some beautiful scenery, touched the cool, cool waters of the Pacific Ocean. And tomorrow, we'll make our way across the border into Oregon and up the Pacific Northwest coast. Check out some of the fishing villages of the Oregon coast.
The autumn leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, summer kisses, those sunburned hands I used to hold. Oh, when you went away, the days grew long, and soon I'll hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves, yeah, when autumn leaves, yeah, when autumn leaves, they start to fall. They start to fall. They start to fall. Start to fall.
Very nice.